Hello all and welcome to today's Torah portion. Before I get started, I'm going to say our blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth, this everlasting life in our midst. Well, okay, let's start that one over. Blessed art thou, Adonai, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with the commandments, commanded us to grow ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai, who sweeten the words of your Torah in our mouths and the mouths of all your people of Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we all together know your name and study your Torah for its sake, fulfilling your desire. Blessed you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Blessed you, Adonai, King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations and gave us the Torah. Blessed you, Adonai, giver of Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence to you and on you may be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today is the first read of Emor, or Emor, which is say. Our first read is going to be Leviticus 21:1 through 24:23. And Yahweh said to Moses, "Speak to the priests and sons of Aaron, and say to them, no one shall make himself unclean for the dead among his people, except for his closest relatives, his mother, his father, his son, his daughter, his brother, or his virgin sister, who is near to him because she had no husband. For her he may make himself unclean. He shall not make himself unclean as a husband among his people, and so profane himself. They shall not make bald patches on their heads, nor shave off the edges of their beards, nor make any cuts on their body. They shall be holy to their Elohim, and not profane the name of their Elohim. For they offer Yahweh's food offerings, the bread of their Elohim. Therefore they shall be holy. They shall not marry a prostitute or a woman who has been defiled, neither shall they marry a woman divorced from her husband, for the priest is holy to his Elohim. You shall sanctify him, for he offers the bread of your Elohim. He shall be holy to you. For I, Yahweh, who sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by whoring, profanes her father, she shall be burned with fire." Oof. Come on, go down. "The priest who is chief among his brothers, on whose head the anointing oil is poured, or has been consecrated to wear the garment, shall not let the hair of his head hang loose, nor tear his clothes. He shall not go to any dead bodies, nor make himself unclean, even for his father or for his mother. He shall not go out of the sanctuary, lest he profane the sanctuary of his Elohim. For the consecration of the anointing oil of his Elohim is on him. I am Yahweh. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, or a divorced woman, or a woman who has been defiled, or a prostitute. These he shall not marry, but he shall take as his wife a virgin of his own people, that he may not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yahweh, who sanctifies him." And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron, saying, none of your offspring throughout their generations who has a blemish may approach to offer the bread of his Elohim. For no one who has a blemish shall draw near, a man blind or lame, or one who has a mutilated face, or a limb too long, or a man who has an injured foot or an injured hand, or a hunchback, or a dwarf, or a man who with a defect in his sight, or an itching disease, or scabs, or crushed testicles. No man of the offspring of Aaron or the priest who has a blemish shall come near to offer Yahweh's food offering. Since he has a blemish, he shall not come near to offer the bread of his Elohim. He may eat the bread of his Elohim, both of the most holy and of the holy things, but he shall not go through the veil or approach the altar, because he has a blemish, that he may not profane my sanctuaries. For I am Yahweh who sanctifies them." So Moses spoke to Aaron and to his sons and to all the people of Israel. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and his sons, so that they abstain from the holy from the holy things of the people of Israel which they dedicate to me, so that they do not profane my holy name. I am Yahweh. Say to them, if any one of your offspring throughout your generation approaches the holy things that the people of Israel dedicate to Yahweh, while he has an uncleanness, that person shall be cut off from my presence. I am Yahweh. None of the offspring of Aaron who has a leprous disease or a discharge may eat of the holy things until he is clean. Whoever touches anything that is unclean through contact with the dead, or a man who has an emission of semen, and whoever touches a swarming thing by which he may be made unclean, or a person from whom he may take uncleanness, whatever his uncleanness may be, the person who touches such a thing shall be unclean until the evening, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he has bathed his body in water. When the sun goes down he shall be clean, and afterwards he may eat of the holy things, because they are his food. He shall not eat what dies of itself or is torn by beasts, and he shall so make himself unclean by it. I am Yahweh. They shall therefore keep my charge, lest they bear sin for it, and die thereby when they profane it. I am Yahweh, who sanctifies them. A lay person shall not eat of a holy thing. No foreign guest of the priest or hired worker shall eat of a holy thing. But if a priest buys a slave as his property for money, the slave may eat of it, and anyone born in his house may eat of his food. If a priest's daughter marries a layman, she shall not eat of the contribution of the holy things. But if the priest's daughter is widowed or divorced, or has no children, and returns to her father's house, as in her youth, she may eat of her father's food, yet no lay person shall eat of it. If anyone eats of a holy thing unintentionally, he shall add the fifth of its value to it, and give the holy thing to the priest. They shall not profane the holy things of the people of Israel, which they contribute to Yahweh, and so cause them to bear iniquity and guilt, by eating their holy things. For I am Yahweh, who sanctifies them. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons and all the people of Israel, and say to them, When any one of the house of Israel or sojourners in Israel present a burnt offering as his offering for any of their vows or freewill offerings that they offer to Yahweh, if it is to be accepted for you, it shall be a male without blemish, of the bulls or the sheep or the goats. You shall not offer anything that has a blemish, for it will not be acceptable for you. And when anyone offers a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh to fulfill a vow, or as a freewill offering from the herd or from the flock, to be accepted it must be perfect. There shall be no blemish in it. Animals blind or disabled or mutilated or having discharge or an itch or scabs you shall not offer to Yahweh or give to Yahweh as a food offering on the altar. You may present a bull or a lamb that has a part too long or too short for a freewill offering, but for a vow offering it cannot be accepted. Any animal that has its testicles bruised or crushed or torn or cut, you shall not offer to Yahweh. You shall not do it within your land. Neither shall you offer as the bread of your Elohim any such animals gotten from a foreigner, since there is blemish in them, because of their mutilation. They will not be accepted for you. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, When an ox or sheep or goat is born, it shall remain 7 days with his mothers, and from the 8th day on it shall be accepted as a food offering to Yahweh. But you shall not kill an ox or a sheep and her young in 1 day. When you sacrifice the sacrifice of thanksgiving to Yahweh, you shall sacrifice it so that you may be accepted. It shall be eaten on the same day. You shall leave none of it until morning. I am Yahweh. So you shall keep my commandments and do them. I am Yahweh. And you shall not profane my holy name, that I may sacrifice among the people of Israel. I am Yahweh, who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am Yahweh. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, and say to them, These are the appointed feasts of Yahweh, that you shall proclaim as holy convocations They are my appointed feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work. It is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwelling places. These are appointed feasts of Yahweh, the holy convocations which you shall proclaim at the time appointed for them. In the 1st month, on the 14th day of the month at twilight, is Yahweh's Passover, and on the 14th day of the month, day of the same month, is the feast of unleavened bread to Yahweh. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 1st day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but you shall present a food offering to Yahweh for 7 days. On the 7th day it is a holy convocation. You shall do no ordinary work. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land that I give you and reap its harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh, so that you may be accepted. On the day after the Sabbath the priest shall wave it. And on the day when you wave the sheaf, you shall offer a male lamb 1 year old without blemish, as a burnt offering to Yahweh. And the grain offering with it shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, a food offering to Yahweh with a pleasing aroma. And the drink offering with it shall be of wine, 1/4 of a hin, and you shall eat neither bread nor grain, parched or fresh, until this same day, until you have brought the offering of your Elohim. It is a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. You shall count 7 full weeks from the day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath, and you shall present a grain offering of the new grain to Yahweh. You shall bring from your dwelling places 2 loaves of bread to be waved, made of 2/10 of an ephah, and they shall be of fine flour, and they shall be baked with leaven, as first fruits to Yahweh. And you shall present the bread with the bread, 7 lambs 1 year old without blemish, and 1 bull from the herd, and 2 rams. They shall be burnt offering to Yahweh, and with their grain offering and their drink offering and food offering with a pleasing aroma to Yahweh. And you shall offer 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 male lambs 1 year old as a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering before Yahweh, and the 2 lambs. They shall be made holy to Yahweh for the priests. And you shall make a proclamation on the same day. You shall hold a holy convocation, and you shall not do any work, for it is a statute forever in all your dwelling places throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap your field right up to its edge, nor shall you gather the gleanings after your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and for the sojourner. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall observe a day of solemn rest, a memorial proclaimed with blasts of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, and you shall present a food offering to Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Now on the 10th day of this 7th month is the day of atonement. It shall be for you a time of holy convocation, and you shall afflict yourselves, and present a food offering to Yahweh. And you shall not do any work on that day, for it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For whoever is not afflicted on that day will be cut off from his people, and whoever does any work on that day, that person I will destroy from among his people. You shall not do any work. It is a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwelling places. It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict yourselves. On the 9th day of the month, beginning at evening, from evening to evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this month, and for 7 days is the feast of booths to Yahweh. On the 1st day shall be a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. For 7 days you shall present food offerings to Yahweh. On the 8th day you shall hold a holy convocation and present a food offering to Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly. You shall not do any ordinary work. These are the appointed feasts of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim as times of holy convocation, for presenting to Yahweh food offerings, burnt offerings, and grain offerings, sacrifices, and drink offerings, each on its proper day, besides Yahweh's Sabbaths, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vow offerings, and besides all your free will offerings, which you give to Yahweh. On the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the produce of your land, you shall celebrate the feast of Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a solemn rest, and on the 8th day shall be a solemn rest. And you shall take on the first day the fruit of splendid trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of leafy trees, willow of the brook, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim 7 days. You shall celebrate it as a feast to Yahweh for 7 days in the year. It is a statute forever throughout all your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths for 7 days. All native Israelites shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the people of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Thus Moses declared to the people of Israel the appointed feast of Yahweh. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Command the people of Israel to bring you pure oil from beaten olives for the lamp, that I light may be kept burning regularly. Outside the veil of the testimony in the tent of meeting, Aaron shall arrange it from evening to morning before Yahweh regularly. It is a statute forever throughout your generations. Ye shall arrange the lamps on the lampstand of pure gold before Yahweh regularly. You shall take fine flour and bake 12 loaves from it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be each loaf. And you shall set them in 2 piles, 6 in a pile on the table of pure gold before Yahweh. And you shall put pure frankincense on each pile, that it may go with the bread as a memorial portion, as a food offering to Yahweh. Every Sabbath day Aaron shall arrange it before Yahweh regularly. It is from the people of Israel as a covenant forever. It shall be for Aaron and his sons, and they shall eat it in a holy place, since it is for him a most holy portion out of Yahweh's food offerings, a perpetual due. Now an Israelite woman's son, whose father was an Egyptian, went out from among the people of Israel, and the Israelite woman's son and a man of Israel fought in the camp, and the Israelite woman's son blasphemed the name and cursed. And they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri, the tribe of Dan, and they put him in custody till the will of Yahweh should be clear to them. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Bring out of the camp the one who cursed, and let all who hear him lay their hands on his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And speak to the people of Israel, saying, Whoever curses his Elohim shall bear his sin. Whoever blasphemes the name of Elohim shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him, the sojourners as well as native. When he blasphemes the name, shall be put to death. Whoever takes a human life shall surely be put to death. Whoever takes an animal's life shall make it good, life for life. If anyone injures his neighbor as he has done, it shall be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Whatever injury has given a person shall be given to him. Whoever kills an animal shall make it good. And whoever kills a person shall be put to death. You shall have the same rule for the sojourner and for the native, for I am Yahweh your Elohim. So Moses spoke to the people of Israel, and they brought out of the camp the one who had cursed and stoned him with stones. Thus the people of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moses. Blessed art thou, Adonai, King of the universe, who gives the Torah of truth to everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, give the Torah, Brukat Adonai, Yi Malach Halom, Asher Natan Lenu Tredemet Vaishilom, Natabet, Kinu Brukat Adonai, Natin HaTorah. Hope you guys have a great night and a fantastic tomorrow.